Okay, in this video, we're going to discuss command status and how to perform a rally. Both of these are going to be performed at the beginning of a formation's impulse. Now, when you're checking the command status of a unit, what you're doing is you're looking to see if it's under the command radius of an HQ unit. I've got an example set aside right here, and you can see the German infantry HQ is located right here, and on the bottom left of its counter, as we stated before, is its command radius. All units stacked with it or underneath that radius are going to be considered under command. Now, when we count it out, 1, 2, 3, 4, which is its command radius, we can see that this infantry platoon is in the radius and as such will be in command, but this infantry platoon is outside of it, so it's not guaranteed to be in command for this impulse. Now, what you're going to do is conduct a morale check to see if that unit gets to take and act in command during this impulse. Just like we stated before, with a morale check, it's easy to do. You're just going to roll 2d6 and compare it to the HQ's morale. When we look on our HQ, the morale for this formation is a 6. So this platoon would take and roll 2d6 at the start of the impulse. If they got a 6 or under, they would take and activate as normal. But if they did not, then they would take and have a out of command marker placed on top of them. And this would mean that they would not get to move or attack during this impulse. Couple things to keep in mind. If the HQ is eliminated for a formation, you're going to have to conduct this command status check for all the remaining units for the remainder of the game, since they no longer have an HQ to be in command of. Also, the command status is for the hex, not per unit. Again, stacking is 2 combat units per hex, so if we had 2 infantry units in this hex, we would not roll for each of them. We would just roll once for the single hex. Also, any units that are coming in from outside the map, they are automatically going to be considered in command for their first turn when they're coming in from off board. When it comes to performing rallies, you're going to do that again at the beginning of a formation's impulse for any units that have been disrupted during the course of the match. I've got an example laid out here with an infantry unit that has a disrupted marker on it. It is going to be performed very similar to how we're doing our command status check, in the fact that you're going to do a morale check, roll 2d6 and compare it to the formation's morale. There are a few modifiers that can affect it. If the unit is out of command, then they're going to add 1 to their morale check roll. And if the unit is in the same hex as their HQ, then they get to subtract their HQ's leadership modifier. So this unit would take, if it's disrupted here, and roll 2d6. The morale for the formation is a 7, so if they got a 7 or under, they would be good. If they were outside of the command radius, they would have to add 1 to that roll to pass their morale check. But if the unit that is disrupted is stacked with the HQ, this HQ's leadership modifier is a 2, so they would get to subtract 2, making it easier for them to become undisrupted.